Hi, I'm John. Today we're going to be looking at windshield wipers that stopped working on a 2003 Toyota Avalon. I had vacuumed the car and put in one of the attachments on the window, and I forgot about it. And as we were driving, the attachment flipped up and locked the windshield wipers into place. So here's kind of a reenactment of what happened. As we were driving, this went up and locked into place, and the windshield wipers stopped working after that. When I turn them on, you can hear the motor still working, so what I'm hoping is that there is a nut on the end of the mechanism that makes it spin, and I'm hoping that that came loose. So I'll take that all apart and see if the nut is loose, and I'm able to tighten it back up and see if it works. If not, I'll end up having to purchase a new windshield wiper motor, and we'll go from there. So first thing you want to do is pop the hood, and then going to take off the windshield wipers. There is a D, you can see, for the drivers, and a P for the passengers. They don't necessarily all have that, but you just want to make sure you remember which one's which, size wise. Okay, so it's a 14mm nut. Okay. Sometimes they don't pop off that easily, and you'll just have to work them back and forth. It's driver's side, and then we'll do passenger side. Okay, so you have two grommets on each side now. You need to remove this whole piece here. It's all one piece that goes down, and there's two grommets on each side. I don't have my grommet removal tool, so I'm just going to use a flathead screwdriver. I'm not too worried about the paint on this thing. So that pops out, and you grab that, and same thing on the other side. On the back side of this piece, underneath, I don't know if you can see, I'll try to get you down in there. So there's those little clips in there. If you can see it right there, you push the clip and then lift. Okay, and that pops out, and then you work your way down. And I'll use a flathead screwdriver to push the clip. Okay, so once that's off, this whole piece slides down and comes out. So here's a better look at those clips that I was pushing, and you push back and they slide in. You can see, maybe get you a different profile there. But this whole piece comes out, and you just have to get it over the mechanism that spins the actual windshield wipers. Okay, so then the next step is going to be to remove the mechanism, and that consists of 4 bolts. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have to disconnect the wiring harness to it. Okay, so those are 10mm. And then we'll do the next 2. This one right here, and that one right there. Okay, so next thing to do to make it easier is you can pop this out. And then, so that gives you a little bit of room with your wires. And then this actually, I'm going to take this whole thing out, and you just have to finagle it a little bit. I'm going to try to do it with one hand. Okay. Then you can get to this clip on the bottom. Makes it a lot easier. And then you can take that off. Okay. So what I'm hoping is that you can see this bolt right here is on the mechanism that turns the whole unit, that turns the windshield wipers, and I'm thinking that this came loose because I can still hear the motor turning. So we'll check that out. So we'll go into the garage. So you can see right here that when I move this, the bolt loosened up. This should be one unit, and the whole motor should be turning right now, and it's not allowing that. So what I'll do is I'll end up moving that out of the way. I'll take the nut off, clean it, and put some Loctite on it, and then really try to cramp down on it to get it to move. You definitely want to make sure that when you take the windshield wiper mechanism out, you want to make sure you're putting it back in the exact same way so that the windshield wipers return back to the original position down at the bottom, not at the top. So this fits on top of a null, so you can pop this off. Whoops, there you go. And you can see there's a ball right there, and then that just slides on top of it, so that'll give me access to this nut. Okay, you also want to make sure that this mechanism's lined up, so I'm just eyeballing it right towards the bottom here, and it's splined on the bottom here, so when it slides down it should fit right back into the splines. You can use a marker and mark up through your bolt if you want to, but I'm pretty confident with just lining it up with the bottom. Okay, that's also 14 millimeter, so oh man. So I'm going to use a screwdriver right in here so I could get some better leverage on the nut. Okay, so I'll pop this back on. Make sure this is lined up where you want it to be. Then pop this back on. And then reverse all of the steps. Okay, so we'll slide this back in the mechanism. And we'll put those 4 bolts back. Okay, we'll tighten those down. Okay, reattach the electrical. Okay, slide this piece back in. And it slides up and under the window. You can see that this piece slides up and under the window. And you may need to do a little bit of finagling to get it to go in. You'll see that this piece slides into here. There's a little bit of a lip that slides into. You can probably see better on this side. Okay, the plastic clips go in, and then you need to clip this down and in, which that's already seated. That's already seated. And then we put back on our windshield wipers, and then we'll test it. P for passenger side. And we have D for driver side. And then we'll tighten those down. All right, I'm gonna give it a test out, and hopefully the nut, tightening the nut worked, and I won't have to replace the motor on it. So we'll give it a go. All right, looks like it worked. So yeah, I lucked out, and it was just the nut on that. But you would go through the same exact routine, except that there are 3 other bolts to replace the motor on it. But it's the exact same pattern or the exact same sequence to take it apart, and you would just replace the motor, put the motor back on. Again, it's super important to know exactly where the windshield wipers are set, and where you're going to tighten that on the spline so that the windshield wipers work in the right order. If it's backwards, the windshield wipers will go down instead of go up. So something to look into. But again, if this monkey can do it, any monkey can do it. All right, have a good day. Enjoy. If you liked the video, give it a like, and if you really liked it, give it a subscribe. All right, bye.